Over IRS Form 9783. This is the individual enrollment form for the electronic federal tax payment system, otherwise known as EFTPS. So this is the form that taxpayers would use to opt into the electronic federal tax payment system, where you can then set up a debit agreement to have federal taxes withheld from your checking account or your savings account. So the first thing that you should know about this form is that this is completely voluntary. You can do the exact same thing by enrolling online at the EFTPS.gov website. And actually, this form recommends that. It says that it saves on mail time. So it also saves on potential identity theft, because you're going to enter your social security number into a document that you then mail to the federal government. So there's always a chance that this gets caught in somewhere in transit, and now someone has access to your social security number. So all that to be said, we're going to go through this form if you still choose to complete it. All the instructions are basically in throughout the form. We're going to go over it as if, just using our fictional example of John Doe and his wife Mary. So let's go ahead and begin. We start by entering John Doe's taxpayer ID number. So in this case, that's his social security number. And since he's filing a joint return with Mary, his wife, we're going to put her information in as well. So you do need to pay attention to the valid characters, which characters you can use. You can use A through Z, the letters of the alphabet, any number 0 through 9, the dash sign, for hyphenated names, and the and symbol right here. So you can use those. And then you can also enter spaces. That's it. So don't put any other punctuation in here other than those acronyms. So, and then for joint filers, you would enter the primary taxpayer's name first, followed by the spouse's name. So in this case, it was John and Mary Doe, just like John and Mary Smith, or it would be complete first name, last name, and complete first name, last name, like John Smith and Mary Jones. So we're going to enter their address here. And then if they were international taxpayers, we would enter their province, country, and postal code. We're going to enter their phone number here. So it specifically says enter either a U.S. phone number or an international phone number, but not both. Now, contact information. This would be if you were to delegate reporting authority, or if you had an accountant that kind of took care of all of your stuff. So this is where you would put that person's information. Now, keep in mind, any correspondence that has to do with EFTPS is going to come to this primary contact, and that's it. So we're going to set this up so that everything goes to James Smith, which is the Doe's family accountant. And the same rules apply. We would provide one phone number either in the U.S. or in the international, but not both. All right. So now on the back side, we're going to repeat John Doe's social security number, and it should match. It actually, I think the process, it will actually kick this back if it doesn't match. And then we're going to put the financial institution's information. So it's important that you know what your financial institution's routing number is. That's the 9-digit number. It'll be on the left-hand side of your checking register if you still use checks. If you don't use checks, you can probably log into your bank's app or mobile app or website, and you can go to your account information and you should find your RTN there. So routing transit number is a 9-digit number. Your account number may or may not be 9 digits. It probably will not be, because it can be either longer or shorter than 9 digits. So it's usually not exactly 9 digits. So and then you would just indicate whether it's checking or savings. So before we get to the signature portion, there are a couple of authorization agreements. The disclosure authorization agreement authorizes your contact person and any banks, financial institutions that are processing your payment. They can receive confidential information to impact your enrollment, to pay your taxes, answer questions, resolve issues related to enrollment and payments. Basically, if the federal government tries to debit your account, then your bank can discuss certain transaction details, like whether or not you have enough money in the account or whether you don't, for the payment to come through. So that authorization includes passwords, payment instructions, taxpayer name and your ID number, payment transaction details, all things that are required to make sure that the transaction requested by the federal government is verified by your financial institution and that they're pulling the money from the right account. And then, all of these authorizations will remain in full force in effect until you've provided written notification that you're terminating this agreement. So the second agreement is that it's the actual debit authorization agreement. So this allows the Treasury Department to actually initiate the debit entries to your bank to pay federal taxes, either upon your request or by your power of attorney's request using EFTPS. So you're authorizing the bank to release that money. Anything that's initiated by the Treasury Department will be done under Treasury regulations. And again, this remains in force until you revoke it in writing. And then the third one is, if you've appointed someone, it can be a corporate officer, a partner, or a fiduciary. That person is signing, stating that they have the authority to make these payments on your behalf. So either that's the authority provided by the power of attorney form on IRS form 2848, or as a reporting agent on IRS form 8655. And we'll put links in the show notes to those forms. So there is contact information if you need to call for customer service. There's a customer service number. There's a Spanish customer service number, and then there's a TDD number for deaf and hard of hearing individuals. So, the first two numbers are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The TDD service is for just from 8 o'clock a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Most deaf and hard of hearing people can also use the relay service to communicate with the EFTPS customer service. For example, my mother uses Sorensen. I think most deaf people do. You can use that to interact with a regular customer service line 24 hours in case you need to reach them off of normal business hours. So a couple of notes that I saw in here. Pay attention to the form, right? So the first thing is make sure the primary taxpayer is the first one listed. There's a note about if you're a sole proprietor, you can use this When you're completing this form, use blue ink or black ink. You can type it, but you should only use capital letters. So, I mean, I kind of walked through this form, but I think the intention would be something like this. So again, if you're typing it, I'm sure it won't be the biggest deal in the world. But I am going to take the time to go back and redo this. So you should too. And then, yep, I think we've covered everything down here. Both spouses would sign and date the form. By the way, you would actually print your name here in all caps, sign it, date it. So, and then you would mail the form to the EFTPS Enrollment Processing Center. Here's the address. You should receive any information that you would need to log into your EFTPS account within 7 business days after they receive the enrollment form. So, consider the mail time, up to a week in addition to that 7 business days. So, I think that's all I saw in here. I just wanted to point those out. We also cover this step by step in our article, so you can check out the link in the show notes, or go to teachmepersonalfinance.com, type in IRS form 9783, and our article should appear immediately. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions or comments, or if there's another topic that you'd like to see covered in an upcoming video, please hit me up in the comments section. Thank you very much and have a great day.